What is going on, guys? We are back on another video today, and we are doing a reaction to, well, the Packers pick when it shows up. And, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff earlier. I probably will do a reaction video, after the draft's officially over. I'll probably end up doing a rebuild. Let me know what you guys, what team you guys want to see for a rebuild. By the time you're watching this, maybe most of the draft's already done, or the draft's already done in general. Of course, there was a couple of surprising picks, like Stingley at 3. You know, we can definitely go over some of that stuff. But obviously, with the Packers pick coming up here, obviously, wide receiver is hands down the number one need. You look at the receiver room right now, and it's not only just a bad room, it is a injury-prone room. Sammy Watkins, if he could play a full season, isn't your worst X-receiver in the world, but that's the problem. He's barely going to play a fourth of the season if you're lucky. I mean, you just never know. Like I said, I made a tweet about it when the signing was made. Don't get me wrong. The signing was good. It was a good value pick, or signing for Green Bay, without a doubt, but you know, it would just be ironic that Green Bay, who's been one of the more injury-prone teams over the last, decade, would keep him healthy the whole year. But obviously, wide receiver 1 is the biggest need. We've seen the insane run of wide receivers that went. You know, Drake London at 8, which was a little bit of a surprise over Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams. Speaking of, Wilson went 10, Olave at 11, Jameson at 12, and then, of course, Jahan Dotson at 16. Very strong, good catching player. As far as Treylon Burks at 18, a strange one with, basically the guy that's he's comped to, A.J. Brown, being traded from Tennessee to the Eagles. The Eagles having a pretty good draft. The NFC East in general having a pretty good draft. I don't want to get too far into it, but yeah, Green Bay definitely needs wide receiver. This could be Pickens, could be Sky Moore, maybe. I don't know if I really feel he's an X, and like I said, when you're looking at Green Bay's X receiver right now, you're kind of looking at Sammy Watkins, potentially Lazard. They have a bunch of slot wide receivers, but how much will Cobb play? Amari Rodgers really didn't play well. This is a team that needs to draft 2 wide receivers in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, and it's just not even close. Of course, best available pick, Jermaine Johnson's still there. I don't know what this kind of fall is from him, but he's still there. Maybe you go that route, but of course, the pick is about to be in. I believe they're kind of walking up, but we'll see. But I don't know really what I want other than wide receiver. I mean, there's tackle. I kind of thought maybe that, what is it called? Ellen Jenkins could just play right tackle and they draft a guard instead. Kind of just best available situation. But the pick is in, but I'm going to cut to when the pick is in and just kind of react to it. And here it is, Green Bay's pick. Quay Walker. I mean, there was a lot of questions about who's going to be the first linebacker off the board. You can almost argue that since the Baltimore Ravens took him, Kyle Hamilton may technically be the first one off the board, but Green Bay. I will say about Quay Walker, though, is it's not as simple as they have Devondre Campbell and his name's passing my mind for some reason. What the hell is his name? I can't think of his name for some reason. Chris Barnes, but I will say about Quay Walker, he kind of is super versatile, and, you kind of thought that maybe Green Bay would take an edge. Preston Smith was actually kind of decent near the end of the season, but can you really afford to keep... I mean, Rashawn Gary's a problem as well with his contract coming up. That Green Bay was looking to get another edge threat as well, and Quay Walker can do that. He's very versatile. Once again, you can't probably pay Chris Barnes. Is this the move I would have went? Absolutely not. Even though he's an older guy, if you're not going to go wide receiver there, I probably would have went Devontae Wyatt. Speaking of Georgia, I just think Green Bay's needs are in the trenches way more if you're not looking at wide receiver. I think, let me think. I'm glad it wasn't safety. If you're going to double dip, well, not double dip, but double down on a position you don't really need technically. I'm glad it wasn't safety. I don't think that's even close to the biggest need. I will say, though, with Green Bay, they kind of just ran Devondre Campbell on his own out there at linebacker most of the time. I will say Quay Walker is easily the most athletically gifted linebacker, I would honestly say, in Green Bay history. I think it's not even close. I mean, in general, he's a freak, for one. So, I mean, he's one of the most athletic players in the entire draft, let alone, in Green Bay history. Maybe even one of the most athletically gifted players of all time, technically. I mean, he's a freak with his size and speed, but as far as Green Bay goes. Obviously, usually not a top player that Green Bay would kind of go for, but since this is kind of like a late first, at best mid-second type of player, Green Bay's latest on reaching for guys is continuing here. Once again, if you look at the board on who was there, you just got to think like Jermaine Johnson would have been a clear better cut player just to start on the edge and don't worry about it. Even a Jabo maybe reach for Ryman, perhaps. Like I said, if we're going to keep Elton Jenkins at guard, I really thought that it was going to be wide receiver. George Pickens absolutely should have been a pick there. Even Christian Watson, just so you can have that deep threat type of receiver to say, hey, go run down the line. You're a big guy. Rodgers, once again, he's still a very accurate quarterback, but he is kind of like, he just kind of throws it at the spot it usually gets there, but a bigger body receiver is definitely something that would help a ton. I know Lazard is that guy, but he's really just like a tight end out there, to be honest. He's not very good with change of direction. Pickens is a guy that Green Bay absolutely needs to target if he's still going to be there. There's a lot of teams, even the Chiefs, could take him. But also, like I said, Devontae Wyatt, I know he's a little bit on the older side, but he would be massive next to Kenny Clark. I just don't see the current lineup. It's always just some random guy, either some guy that was okay at one point or just some nobody next to Kenny Clark, who you're paying a ton of money to just carry the load on the interior. Like I said, though, with Quay Walker, he will move around a lot, and he will help kind of fill the hole as well with that insane athleticism. But I think this is kind of an L from Green Bay. But I will say, considering the wide receiver talent that went, and the fact that there was no glaring wide receiver there that they should have taken, there's like, everyone's joking already about it, I can see. But at the end of the day, the fact that it wasn't safety is already kind of, if it's not wide receiver, tackle, the fact that it's not safety is a huge win W, automatically. I think it's an okay pick. I'd give it like a B- for now. We'll obviously see what happens, and of course, I think Green Bay has good plans to utilize him. Green Bay is a defense that definitely moves their players around a ton. I mean, Za'Darius, played right down the middle at times. Obviously not last year, but I would have loved to see Drake London, but obviously he was going to pick 8. Falcons kind of jumped that one a little bit. But overall, I don't hate it. Green Bay has to, in my opinion, though, like I said, take wide receiver in the next 2 of the next 3 picks. I just don't want it to be safety. If it's lineman, I guess I'll take it, as long as it's not like some super reach. But yeah, as far as that pick goes, not super happy, but with the way the board moved around, unless Green Bay was going to trade their pick for an actual wide receiver like we've seen many of with Marquise Brown, which was a little bit of a crazy one, and then A.J. Brown, which was just wildly shocking, I don't think Green Bay could have done much better there. Like, you take Pickens or you take Watson or something, maybe, but Quay Walker, for what Green Bay wants to do on defense, is actually very vital. I think he's a huge impact player, and I don't hate it. I actually don't hate it. I know he's like a super late riser, but I actually don't hate the move. Like I said, B-, but all things considered, there wasn't a whole lot more that they could have went with. So let me know what you guys think of that pick. I know a lot of people are going to clown it because it is kind of like the gut reaction is, wow, where's the wide receiver? Wow, linebacker, you just paid Devondre a 5-year $50. Once again, Chris Barnes is going to be gone. You get that versatility. You get that depth. And once again, Green Bay is a very good team across the board. If you're not taking wide receiver, which they should have, you're not going to take tight end, which no one's taking one in the first round. I highly doubt it. And you're not going to take O-line, which, I mean, you can maybe take Ryman. Some of the guys were kind of gone there. I just think the board didn't fall the way Green Bay wanted it to. And this is a draft class I don't think you trade up in, especially losing next year picks, which I feel like if you're trading up this year, you're probably gearing up for a run this year, which means maybe you move those next year picks. So I just think, once again, Green Bay was just in a bad spot, and Quay Walker for Devontae Adams, pretty much. Okay. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and we'll be back with pick 28 unless Green Bay trades down, which honestly seems pretty realistic here. I'm not going to lie, unless by the time this is already up that they've already taken the pick or traded down, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, which will be several, see ya!